Where have I been? I recently traveled to St. Louis, Missouri for a business trip. Yes, that's the life of a traveling internal auditor. Welcome to Becoming Bossy. We are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers, and you can help by subscribing to the channel. If you are already subscribed, thank you so much. Speaking of a journey, I'm excited for you to travel, fly, and drive with me for the first time to St. Louis, Missouri. Throughout the video, you will hear travel sounds, and I'll also let you actually experience them with me. The first step was boarding the plane. Fortunately, I had the entire row on the airplane to myself, so I was able to stretch and get comfortable, and then it was time for takeoff. As always, it was bumpy and rough, but as soon as I knew it, we were flying smoothly through the beautiful clouds. I love looking down at the views of the city when I'm on the plane. It also really emphasizes how big the world is and how we all have a chance to positively impact so many other people. Then it was time to grab my luggage from baggage claim at the airport. As you can tell by the sign, I arrived in St. Louis. Then I took a shuttle to the car rental place and selected a silver Nissan Kicks. It was tiny but mighty. I had fun driving this little car. I drove straight to work and had to make a presentation at noon. Then around 4 o'clock, I checked into my hotel. Whew, I had a long day already. So I picked up some Mexican food and enjoyed a night in. I stayed in St. Louis for 4 days and 3 nights, by the way. This bed felt amazing and I loved the hotel accommodations. I even looked up the Becoming Bossy channel on the hotel's television and saw this. It felt surreal, like, is this my YouTube channel on this little screen? Oh, well, I got some rest for the night because I had woken up at 3:45 a.m. that morning to catch my flight. So the next morning at 5 a.m., I was determined to get to the gym. I had not worked out since Thanksgiving and I did not want to get accustomed to missing my fitness time. Fortunately, since I had arrived at the gym so early, there was no one else there. Right beside the hotel's fitness center was an indoor pool. Look, I'm scared of swimming in the wintertime because I do not want to catch a cold. I mean, not even putting my toe inside. I just might get sick or something. And I know swimming in an indoor pool is fine, but I did not want to take that chance, especially since I was traveling and I did not want to be sick on the flight back home. But the pool was beautiful and big and it was very warm inside. Then I was off to get dressed and go to work. Later that night, I took a drive down in the Kirkwood neighborhood. I found a restaurant named Crushed Red, which was so yummy. Their Queen Margarita pizza and Chipotle barbecue chicken salad without the chicken was delicious and healthy. Definitely one of my top eateries during my stay. And then I went back to the hotel for an evening in. The next morning, the last day of my trip, I woke up at 5 a.m. and was determined to visit the Gateway Arch, which is a popular monument in St. Louis. It stands over 630 feet tall and is surrounded by a beautiful park. I just felt like I could not leave St. Louis, Missouri without going there. Who goes to St. Louis and doesn't visit the Arch? Unfortunately, it was too early to take the tram ride inside of the arch, but I could at least visit and take pictures outside. So let's continue driving. What initially brought me to St. Louis anyway? This was a business trip, as I mentioned earlier. I was assigned to St. Louis for the week at work. Depending on the size of your employer or organization as an internal auditor, you may have the opportunity to visit places at the expense of your company. Of course, the company paid for the trip, my meals, hotel accommodations, so it was nice to fit some personal destinations within my travel. I am so glad that I woke up super early and had already loaded my luggage in the trunk, because this was about a 30-minute drive and I still had to arrive to work by 9 a.m. Fun fact, I actually was still able to arrive at work before 8 a.m., okay? Soon I'll let you enjoy the drive in silence so you can hear some of my car ride sounds. You can also see how safe of a driver I am. I didn't drive too fast or too slow, but I must admit that driving in St. Louis felt different in a great way. It was really enjoyable. I had no clue where I was turning or going. I mean, I had a GPS system, but the randomness of being in an unfamiliar place was surprisingly therapeutic and enjoyable. All right, here is the silence and car sounds that I promised. You can go to larger cities and you have opportunities to travel while you're working on your engagements or your projects with certain key process owners. So this is one of those opportunities where I have the opportunity to fly to St. Louis for 4 days, 3 nights. I just want to take the opportunity to actually do at least one thing that doesn't involve working. So it is currently 6:58 a.m. in St. Louis, as you can see. Got up early, made the sacrifice so I can be to work by 9 o'clock. I gotta see this before I leave. I don't live early too because traffic isn't too bad. So that's nice. Alright, the rest of the video I think will just be you all seeing me actually get there. And also look at this beautiful sunrise. It's so beautiful. The official sunrise should be at, I believe, 7:15. So got a few more minutes. Driving through the metropolitan area of St. Louis was amazing, and the view was gorgeous since I had arrived just as the sun was rising. We are getting closer. Oh, look at Deloitte. There's a Deloitte in St. Louis. It's right there.
Use the left lane to turn left on South Memorial Drive. You've arrived. Destination is on your right.
Arriving at the Gateway Arch. Up close and personal, I was amazed at just how tall the arch was. I mean, I read about it, I watched videos of it, but those are nothing compared to actually being there in person. I took personal photos with the arch in the background and had a calm moment at sunrise. I also didn't realize how close I was to Ballpark Village, which is right by the Busch Stadium. The St. Louis Cardinals is a professional Major League Baseball team, and they play their home games here. After I left the arch, I drove to work and then left around 3 p.m. I then filled up my rental car with gas, returned it, took a shuttle back to the airport, and caught my flight. Again, I felt so blessed to have an entire row on the plane to myself again, especially during the middle of a pandemic. In a sense, I'm glad that I didn't book first class travel because first class was actually full. I then recorded the nighttime sky on the way back home. Uh-oh, it's time to touch down, which can also be bumpy and rough. I enjoyed watching the taxi lights shining in the darkness. It was a great way to end a long day and a great trip to St. Louis. Do me a favor, click the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. We are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. If you can help us get there, be sure to like this video, comment your thoughts on the sights and sounds of St. Louis, Missouri, and, like I mentioned, subscribe to the channel. Comment below. What was your favorite part of the trip? I am so fortunate that I was able to share these moments with you. As always, stay blessed and stay bossy.